Click the links to join the channel here over at SubScribestar. So the title, in case you're not looking at the screen, is James Gunn says DCU is building towards an Avenger Endgame. Climax offers no specifics, such as the main antagonist. So let's take some examples of your entertainment options if you're into this genre as you are. I went to Amazon, and the price for The Dark Knight Rises new was on sale, actually, for $15 new. And it's 224 pages. I mean, my point is you're getting a big chunk of literature. Literature, that might be a little bit strong. Having read it and had copies, thanks to LG, it's a great read. And for example, Batman Year One is 144 pages, and it's $12.74 new, and both can be found used for like $9. And for the people who send me graphic novels to the mailbox, that's absolutely fantastic. But please don't buy them new; just get them used. I prefer it because I'm always going to take quantity of the good story over quality of a physical book. I don't care if it has dog ears or whatnot. I just want to read it. The point is that for the price of a movie ticket, you can get a new graphic novel or a few used ones, or for the cost of the monthly Disney or Netflix memberships, you can start building up your graphic novel library. I'm trying to get rid of mine. Because I'm building up like the nonfiction library. But if that's what you're into, you can have a nice bookshelf just full of these things. And in my opinion, for the best stories, you never need to go beyond 1990. The great stuff is just go further and further back. So I mentioned this because I saw this article on DC and James Gunn, and they've got plans to follow up the Marvel Avengers success story. And it very much was a success story, where you have these teams group together to build up to a big conclusion. And while I'm pretty sure that this genre's ship has sailed, it was torpedoed by the woke penis. It doesn't matter if James Gunn even believes that this is possible, which is almost certainly not. He's paid to make movies. And as long as the movies are not so bad, embarrassingly bad, that they cause reputational harm, he probably just doesn't care. He's just going to churn them out. The past few years have not been good for Marvel or DC. They both had some outright bombs and movies that just broke even. And Hollywood movies, they're not investing $200 million to just break even or just make $1 million net. They're looking for, big breakout movies. And when you have all these IPs, whether DC and Marvel, whoever, like you should be having a lot of breakout hits, and they're just not doing it. And the timing of the Wu flu can take some of the blame, but the thing is, you can watch the movies and they're just not very good. DC had Wonder Woman 2, or 1984, Flash, Black Adam, Aquaman 2, Shazam, Birds of Prey, SS Squads 1 and 2, with 2 just being a weird movie. It was kind of a girl power type of thing. Then they had the bizarre circumstances of spending $100 million to make Batwoman, which follows up on 3 years of a horrible TV show. That TV show, if you haven't seen it, it was in Vagrant Queen territory, but the movie was so bad that they canceled it after it was actually made, which is impressive, and I would love to know how often that happens, when they get to full completion and look at $100 million and go, oh, the reputational harm this will cause is so serious that we have to just take the loss and just burn the movie, which probably doesn't feel very good if you were involved in the movie. Then, over the years, they had the various successful versions of Batman, Superman, the first Aquaman, which did over $1 billion, then the sequel, which did $440 million, and then the ensemble cast of the Justice League. Now, the Justice League was back in 2017, and the standard is the 2-hour version, but if you're gonna watch it, watch the 4-hour version, which sounds crazy, but it was actually a good watch. And a friend kept reminding me to watch it for years, and finally I did. It was worth the download. I mean, by worth, I mean the space on your hard drive, because the price is actually a bargain in your area. Obey local laws, of course. Anyway, DC looked at the universe and wisely decided to rebirth it to try to get a new audience. They had to get rid of Gal Gadot because Wonder Woman 84 was 2.5 hours, and holy cow, that was horrible. Because Patty Jenkins, among other things, made every antagonist blonde-haired, very anti-white, very disrespectful. Imagine Trump saying sad. But they had the timing of the Wu flu to try to shift the blame. It wouldn't have mattered. The movie killed the character. Which means it also killed the characters that she interacted with, especially when you consider that Ezra Miller in The Flash also killed the character. That dude has a troubled personal history, but pharmaceutical enhancements are not. The Flash is not a main player character. A lot of people have not heard of him. I mean, maybe Green Lantern is less popular. Why they decided to do a $200 million movie is kind of an odd choice for a character who is, how do I say this? I guess I don't say. He's a member of the BLT community, and like musical theater level kind of gay. It's like it's too much. That's going to appeal to a very limited audience, that kind of thing. I mean, the only thing I remember about the character is like, oh, he's got good cheekbones and a jawline, very lean, and other than that, he was entirely unlikable. He's a character, though. Oddly enough, the Flash had who's that original '89 Batman guy in it? Not the original Batman, but the '89 guy. I'm drawing a blank. Michael Keaton, which was a lot of fun. They did some good stuff with that movie, but it wasn't good enough to overcome his massive Bolivian marching powder addiction. So he's a character that's meant to be in the background. So now you've got to cut both Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, and I get the feeling for some reason they didn't like Henry Cavill. So you might as well just get rid of everyone and start fresh. I kind of get this weird vibe, and this is just theoretical, but like James Gunn and DC, I kind of think maybe they're tied into like Epstein type of stuff, and Henry Cavill seems like a straight shooter, so he wasn't on board with that. So who knows? Just a feeling. So you have this cast of new characters to mix and match as you wish. It doesn't have to follow comic canon. They've got away from that a long time ago. You can mix them up in whatever works to sell tickets. And I guess you also had the Joker 1 and 2, which technically are in the DC universe, but those versions of the movies were not really. And Joker 2 destroyed both actors for that role, so DC really does have to start over. The problem is the genre is dying, and with Joker 2, all they had to do was they should have started moving the movie back into the campy comic book to bring that character into the bigger DC universe, and instead they did whatever. I gotta admit, I did not see it. Was not received well, Lady Gaga notwithstanding. So DC and Marvel are just going to do more of the same. It would be better to stop making these movies for a few years, put them on the shelf, have a hiatus, let like a generation go by. Or the better option is to start with a fresh cast. And the more important aspect is to put woke in the grave where it belongs, which with Hollywood, it would mean Batman is in suspended animation in his coffin that Robin has to dig him out later for the comic in '86. The problem with this genre, which is the only one I pay attention to in Hollywood, is woke, which is an umbrella term that covers feminism, gay, and diversity. Well, it turns out that those things are kryptonite to the paying audience. Let's take Girl Power, Mary Sue, Don't Need a Man. First of all, a little sex appeal helps sell these silly movies, and the hard evidence is Margot Robbie. She was in the first SS. She was not in Hugo Boss, which would have been awesome, but she was in whore shorts and a tight shirt, and the straight audience was very much on board with a little TNA. Mostly, and the thing is, they try to shame you with this and just call them bundles of sticks. The thing is, you mostly have a straight male audience, but even women like to see women who are in shape, who are we're straight. Sexy is okay. There's a comfortable middle ground. This isn't prawn. And then you have the woke who rears its ugly face, and Scarlett Johansson whining about getting sexualized on screen when she was young and she had a good body in her 20s. It's like, okay, then just don't make movies. You weren't a child. You were an adult when you were in those bodysuits with the big fake milkers and your fake nose job and your other fake surgeries. Like, you just don't need to go into Hollywood. Like, you did this to yourself. So Birds of Prey and SS2 come out, and Margot Robbie is in a burqa, and nobody goes to pay for those movies because nobody gives a shit. We're talking about comic book movies here. This isn't Shakespeare. They took the sex out of the movies and they bombed. So, I mean, that's pretty clear. How many more examples do you need? If you had a Ghostbusters 2016, which was kind of one of the movies that helped get this whole anti-woke pushback rolling. You had, what, 4 chicks? I don't remember them. But if you had 4 super hot, attractive chicks in Ghostbusters, was that Ken Feige did that? It would have done better. You just can't have 2 300-pounders as your lead characters. So you had Brie Larson, who actually does have a great body, and she's got some nice milkers, and they refuse to show her off. Have these people ever actually read a comic? Because there's a lot of gravity-defying double D cups in comics, and the bodies are, they're fictional, they're aspirational, inspirational. Both the males are all, looking like overblown themselves, as well as the females. So it's like you got to put that in the comics. Like, what do you think? Who's the guy? Chris Helmsworth or something who plays Thor. So the Marvels bombs because there's just too much diversity, too much feminism. And then they have Madam Web, Sydney Sweeney, a chick with just truly amazing milkers, and that could be your superpower, like Spider-Man, but not from the wrists. And the movie turns out to be a massive bomb because people now associate women with woke Mary Sues. It's just a trigger reaction, whether it's fair or not. That's just how people feel about this stuff. So anyway, DC's got a chance to bring, well, Wonder Woman, among other characters, but that's kind of your one popular female character, and you've got a really good opportunity to make a super piece of ass to inject some life into the movies, but they won't because everything will be fake and lighthearted and frivolous. My point being, Hollywood feels like it's over, and if you like these kind of stories, you just have the options of reading graphic novels, which, like I said, 244 pages for $15 new or $9 used is well worth it. You could fill up a bookshelf with these kind of, graphic novels or reprints from the 30s to the 80s, whatever period you're into, and get back to reading. There's just no shortage of comics to read, and there's the digital option as well. But it's like, for the price, it's nice to put stuff on a bookshelf and fill that up, because if you're into this genre, Hollywood is just not going to go in a direction that you want to watch. It's over, whether it's Marvel or DC, and probably Hollywood in general, unless they decide to turn it around, and I don't see that on the horizon. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys all next episode.